So I have always liked to sing, in case, you might not know this if you're a first time watcher slash blog reader, but I've always loved singing. It's always been a really big passion of mine. I've always secretly wanted to be one of the Disney princesses, the speaking and the singing voices. Hasn't happened yet, but who knows, maybe it will at some point in life. Hasn't happened yet, but I'm still hopeful. Anyway, so I saw the movie Pitch Perfect, like most people have, and I, loved it because people singing, obviously it's right up my alley. I like anything with a kind of musical vibe to it. So I absolutely loved it, and but the one thing, or the main thing that terrified me in that movie, and it's not a horror movie, so don't think of it as, not terrified as in a horror movie sense, but scared me, was nodes. And I'd never heard about these nodes before. It was actually the first time that I'd ever even heard of something like that. And for those of you who don't know what nodes are, or who haven't seen Pitch Perfect, they're just, it's something that ruins your vocal cords and you aren't able to sing at specific pitches anymore. That's just a very basic, very layman's terms version of what it means. So anyways, that scared me because I was like, okay, I don't want to get nodes and I don't know how to get them, so I just, hopefully that'll never happen. Then I kind of, pushed it aside, because I was like, you know what, it's not really something I have to worry about, so it's all cool. Then I got back into teaching. I was doing a lot of singing stuff before I started going back into teaching, and when I was singing and practicing on my own, I could tell that I could reach specific ranges that I couldn't before. And then I go back into teaching, and suddenly the ranges that I had or could reach, I wasn't able to reach them as well, especially if I had a particularly crazy busy day at school, or I was, speaking loudly, or was using my voice more loudly than I normally would. And so I noticed that I couldn't reach specific ranges. Even now you can kind of tell that my voice is a little scratchy, and that's why I keep, I'm constantly kind of trying to clear my throat, because I can tell that it's something that it's a little bit weird. Anyways, so then I got sick this year, or actually 2017, whatever, at the beginning of the school year anyways, I got sick. And then I got better, but then like a couple of weeks after that, after getting better, I got sick again. And then my voice was still off, I couldn't sing, and it was really stressful. So I thought, oh God, maybe my voice isn't getting better, maybe I have nodes, oh gosh. So and then I also thought I had pneumonia. So I went to the doctors, and he's like, oh, what's your, how do you know, or when was the last time you got sick? So I explained everything to him, but inside I secretly just wanted to know, I just wanted to tell him, hey, you know what, my singing or vocal range has changed since I first started singing. So is that a problem? Secretly I just wanted to ask him if he knew if I had nodes. I didn't ask him, should have, but I thought he would think I was crazy, so I didn't even bother asking. Anyways, fast forward a little bit after that, one of my friends on Facebook, she is a singer and she teaches singing as well, tagged me in a video on rock stars, or metal singers rather, who strain their vocal cords while singing because they're singing really loud, and it's a very loud and kind of emotional type genre of music. So in there, the vocal coach who was working with these artists was saying that you have to have a specific way of singing. You have to obviously sing from your diaphragm kind of thing, not scratching or irritating your voice at all, or your vocal cords. And that made me, worry about my singing abilities, and I was like, I want to get better at it, and I want to learn how to sing properly, so that I'm not, 50 years down the road, like, oh, I can't sing anymore because I didn't sing properly when I had the chance to, or I didn't learn the proper methods. So I messaged her, and she, obviously confirmed all of the stuff that I was talking to her about, and I was, telling her about my fear of nodes, and, if for some reason, if I do have them, what are the options? Like, do I never sing again? That was the main concern I had. Like, I thought, if I get nodes, I'll never be able to sing again, and that's it. And she's like, no. If it gets really bad, which, obviously nobody wants it to get that bad, but if it does get bad, you would have to get surgery, and that would help kind of remove it. But again, I wanted to learn how to properly sing so that I don't have to get to a point where I have to A, get surgery, and B, if I ever had to get surgery, I don't want it to be that it comes back because I still don't have the proper way of speaking or singing. And I figured it'll help me with my teaching as well, because I won't be straining my throat or my voice all the time while I'm speaking to my students. So I asked her if she was available. She wasn't, but she did suggest another vocal coach. So I emailed her right away, and we set up a meeting for January 9th. So I went on January 9th for the first time to go meet with her. And, she asked me about my singing and how and when I started singing, what do I like about my voice, what I don't like about my voice. And, there were things that I was like, it's really hard for me to say because, again, if you know me, that I am I have a lot of stage fright, and I don't really like when people hear my voice because I get very nervous, and in my mind, it sounds like my voice is horrible, and because it's in my mind that I'm horrible, I don't really sing in public as often. So it's really hard when somebody says, what do you like about your voice? Because at this point, I'm not really sure. I know that people tell me that I have a good voice, but again, that was before my voice got all hoarse. So we did some vocal exercises together on January 9th. We just practiced. That's what she told me going in. She's like, the first session is just me figuring out what your range is, what we need to work on, that we're not actually going to be singing, which obviously I totally understand because you need to have a good foundation before you can start singing. With any, singing or anything else, you do have to have a proper foundation. So I wanted to learn how to sing properly, and I want to know what I can do to fix it, so that I can get better, so that I can open up my vocal range again and hopefully not have nodes. So she gave me a few different exercises to practice. She told me about like a few of the ones that we practiced together. I was using a straw and just making like a hoo sound with a straw, and I had my straw, I brought it in with me. I left it in my car. I was leaving it in my car because I was practicing on drives, which honestly is probably really awkward because if people see me in the car and see a straw sticking in my mouth with me just kind of holding it and being really awkward, it's probably super creepy or super weird. But show me practice, that's pretty much the easiest place that I can practice is in the car, so I practiced in the car. But I brought it in with me because I was going to, on camera, show some of the exercises, and I don't know where I put it. I must have left it downstairs somewhere, but I can't remember. So yeah, that was one of them. Obviously I did one where she wanted me to hold the sides to make sure that I could see my diaphragm moving up and down, to verify that I wasn't actually singing just from my throat. She was telling me a lot of other things on how to kind of help open up my sinuses, to help open up my vocal cords. And then she also told me, try not to scream or yell. And not that I scream or yell a lot, but when I need to get students' attention, I tend to try to project my voice, but I don't really use my diaphragm to do so. I use my throat, and when I do that, I'm obviously using, scratching it, and it gets hoarse. So yesterday even she was saying that I was very hoarse while singing, and honestly it's still a little tough for me because I know what it was like just a few years ago, and when I get a nice break, like in the summer it was great, but recently I haven't been doing so well. On top of that, since my parents came back, I haven't been able to sing regularly around the house. When they were gone, when they were in Abu Dhabi, I was able to, every morning, because my brother and my sister left earlier than I did, I'd usually be singing in the shower, or I would be, singing around the house. I got home before them sometimes, so I'd be singing again around the house, practicing, that kind of thing, but I haven't been able to do that because my parents are always up by the time I get up, and again, because of the stage fright thing, I don't usually sing out loud while they're around. So it's kind of, I'm not getting any practice where I was getting practice before. So that kind of, I guess, could affect my range as well, because she did suggest to do some practices some practice exercises in the shower when when there's a lot of steam, so that can help open up the vocal cords a little bit. But again, I haven't done it yet because usually my parents are up by the time I get up and leave the house, or rather my dad is, so I don't like making too much noise, so I just don't do it. And I use the bathroom in our basement downstairs. I know a little too TMI maybe, but I use the bathroom downstairs, and that is usually where my dad and my mom hang around. They're usually in the basement, so I haven't been able to practice. That being said, if I don't get in my practice, then obviously I won't be able to get any better. That's what I've been doing with working out, is I practice all the exercises and the homework that I'm given, and because I practice, I've gotten better and I've been able to progress quickly. Whereas if I don't do this with singing, then I obviously will be progressing very quickly as well. And I do want to get better, so I obviously will have to practice and get over that stage fright of being, just kind of weird in the morning. So that was my first session. I just wanted to kind of, talk about it a little bit, debrief, and say what I was feeling like after that first session. And I'm sure that I will have more things to talk about once, we continue the sessions. And that's all for now. Anyways, have a great day and a great week. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Lots of love.